The growing calls across the nation to defund the police.
To end policing as we know it.
Off the charts violence in New York City. 11 people shot in just 8 hours on
This is
Sunday.
about the police officers who every single day put on that uniform and they run towards danger when we run away from it.
Guns up, giddy up. This is not Eric Tansey. You're probably very confused right now. I'm the underpaid producer. I'm the producer of the Failure to Stop podcast, the #1 show where police meet society and culture. And Eric had a kid. He had a baby. He's not here right now. So instead, we decided to give you guys a little sneak peek or preview of a full episode that is on our Patreon. Patreon gets some really awesome exclusive content. So if you want to see more of the show, if you love what we do now on YouTube and on audio, go to Patreon. Sign up. It's not crazy expensive. It's awesome. You get tons of content. And I mean tons of content. Enjoy the episode.
Oh, did you seriously spill it?
Yeah, I was trying to show the camera, but I tilted it.
Look at that steak. Oh, it's got the diamonds. How did you get the diamonds on it? You got the grill out?
Bro.
What?
Yeah.
You went all in.
Let's get the show going, and then I'll tell my
The
secrets.
show's on. The show's going. What are you talking? It's Patreon. It's going.
But don't you want to do a little introduction or
Fuck
something?
no. What?
Oh,
No, who cares? What are you
they know
talking
who
about?
we are, right?
Bro,
Yeah.
we're having dinner. Do you make an introduction when you go into the restaurant? You know, like you sit down and you say, do you know who I am? My name is Officer Tansey. Thank you for allowing me to have dinner at your restaurant. No, we're not making any. Not doing all that, dude. We're not doing all that. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and I'm
Welcome
so
for
excited you're here because I've been sitting with these steaks in front of me. I'm ready to dig in.
Bro, did you say steaks?
Yeah, I have 2 steaks.
You have 2 steaks?
Let me get this ready in case it spills again. Here we go.
That is 2 steaks.
Yes,
All right, let
sir.
me show you mine. Can you see? Let's see if I can.
I saw
did-
you.
Yeah.
You pan-seared.
Pan-seared, little blackened pan-seared, using It's All Good seasoning, veteran-owned and operated company.
Oh,
I don't know if they use Black Rifle coffee. They do have coffee in it, and I think they did say they used a veteran-owned coffee company, but I don't know if it's Black Rifle or not. I saw your shirt.
yeah. I think mine is Kinder. It's a buttery steakhouse blend, and it is my absolute favorite. So yeah, actually, what I did the reverse microwave sear on these.
What?
Yeah, so you
What is
take,
that?
Yeah, you sear it on the grill really quick, 30 seconds each side, and then throw it in the microwave for 10 minutes, and you're good to go.
Oh my gosh.
I've
I've never heard that.
I'm totally fucking with you.
Oh my God. I was going to shit on you for a second, but I was like, oh, I don't want to do that.
You're like,
So-
those look really good for a microwave.
I'm like, I've been doing this all wrong because like my whole house is smoked out. You know, my kids are crying. It's like they've been pepper sprayed. They're like, oh, and they all want steak, but I'm like, we can't afford it. You guys can have yogurt. Shut up.
So I did my
Stab
traditional sous vide. So I cooked them in water, right?
Yeah, boiled it first.
Boiled it in a bag, got it to the perfect temperature, and then seared it on the grill.
Oh, that's the perfect way to do it.
You ready?
That's a perfect way to. Whenever I, oh, look at that, dude.
Am I an influencer if you do it correctly?
Yeah, no,
Don't you have to
good.
block the background so like they can focus? I don't know what I'm doing.
It looks good. I can tell that it's medium rare.
Is it focused?
It's focused.
Oh,
Well, it focuses a lot better when you're when you're not like shaking it at the camera. They just held it there like a
oh,
oh,
oh, oh my God, bro! I probably had 500 steaks within the last year. Still,
damn.
get this.
When's the last time you've been home? You've been on the road a lot.
So, funny story. I couldn't even remember. And I got home last night. So I have a Tempur-Pedic bed, and it's a smart base. And so it tracks my sleep. So I got on it last night, getting into bed, and it said last recorded sleep schedule was 47 days ago.
Wow.
I was gone for 47 days. Just
Golly.
fucking around.
Just doing life, dude.
Yeah,
just doing life on tour like a rock star.
Oh,
Breaking Benjamin, the band came through here
Mm.
a few months ago, and they were like, yo, they listened to the show. They listened to Failure to Stop podcast. It's hilarious. They've even called me like in the middle of a show to ask me
Whoa.
like legal advice. The one guy, Jason Rao, had a squatter in Nashville while he went on tour. He went on tour for like 90 days, and he came back and there were squatters living in his house in Nashville,
Wow.
and he couldn't get them out. And he called the PD, and the PD was like, well, they've been here for like over 60 days, so you have to go through an eviction process. He's like, what are you talking about? This is my house. What are you talking about? So he called me. He's like, yo, what can we do? And I gave him some advice. Probably wasn't like good legal advice, but it was just good like
Go kick
human
some
life.
asses.
Yeah. Like, dude, get like 6 of your biggest friends and go get to work. And if you want to give me a day or two, I'll go down there and do it. I don't mind. Like, I wouldn't mind throwing my hands on somebody. It's been a while. It's been a while.
What if we offered a service where we would go run off the squatters for people with no paper trail?
We'd have to bring Mike the cop because, like, I'm pretty sure you and I aren't really. You know what I mean? Like, what if we catch somebody that's like really knows what they're doing fight wise?
True.
Like, I mean, I'm good at it if they don't know what they're doing, but
Right.
like nowadays, like everybody's doing that BJJ stuff.
Mhm.
I might just get my ass. Do you do any of that? Do you do the martial arts?
I'm more of just the BJ part.
I'm joking on steak.
Um,
Well played. Well played. But yeah, I think that would be a really good service. We could like, oh man, we could bring Tammy with us
Ooh, could you imagine?
just for intimidation though. Like she doesn't really like throw hands on anybody. She's just
That's all we
talking
need.
shit in the background.
We don't even need Mike. We just need Tammy.
We just need Tammy. Bro, that
Yeah.
video that you did with her with was it Luke Bryan?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, that was so funny. His mom was like legit freaking out too.
The cigarette throw when she took one more puff and then threw it to jump in, and
Oh, it's
Dude.
so funny. So funny. But anyway, yeah, so the Breaking Benjamins guys, they came in town and they were like, yo, what's your phone number? We're in Raleigh. So I gave him my phone number and he was like, yo, let's get together. Let's throw it down tonight. And I said, well, what do y'all want to do? Do you guys want like a home cooked meal? Do you guys want to go out for dinner? I mean, you've been on the road for like 90 days. He's like, we'll never turn down a home cooked meal. So I'm like, well, where are you guys? And they're like, we're in Raleigh. Come get us. And I was like, oh, like right now? And he was like, yeah, we could be ready in 30. So I tell my wife, I'm like, yo, so the guys from Breaking Benjamin, they're coming over in about 30 minutes. She's like, wait, what?
huh?
And I was like, and they want a home cooked meal. So she's like,
Hilarious.
okay. So she goes to the store. I go to pick them up and we come back to the house. We have like a huge, okay, but they ended up spending the night. It was a whole thing. But, you know, he was saying it sucks because like when you're on the road, you don't get to really, you know, they get to eat out a lot, but they don't get any really, like, there's nothing like a home cooked meal.
Correct.
Like, I like steaks eating out, but I like my own steaks.
Same. I was so excited to get home and cook this.
Oh, I like to do steaks my own way because like I know how I want it cooked.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the whole experience too.
Yes.
I like pouring myself a glass of wine, you know,
Yeah.
put my apron on.
Yeah, it's almost like a hobby.
Okay. Yeah, like a hobby.
Just
What are your hobbies?
cooking steak.
Like a real
And
fucking
BJs.
man. Like getting blowjobs and eating steaks like a real man.
Hell yeah,
I
brother.
mean, this is the best restaurant. Thanks for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having me.
I'm glad we got reservations at this fine dining establishment. Such short
Well,
notice.
They were booked, but I threw out your name and they said, don't worry about it. We got a table for you.
Like, you know who I'm having dinner with? You know who I'm having dinner with? That's actually why I did this show. I came up with it, T-Bones with Tansy. It's because I want to be able to say I've had dinner with like celebrities, but no celebrity will ever take me to dinner. So if I do this, I'll forever be able to say I had dinner with the Officer Daniels. So I mean, a lot of clout behind this.
But we do got to make it happen in real life, not over the internet.
Yeah, we'll do it one day. You know, I had dinner. I've had dinner a few times with Mike the Cop, but one of the craziest dinners I've ever had in my life was with Mike the Cop. You ever had dinner with that guy?
Oh, a ton.
he has no restaurant etiquette at all.
Oh no, not at all.
No. And we actually, while we were in there, the boyfriend of the waitress happened to be like 2 tables over at this really nice steak restaurant. And he had had enough of whatever jokes Mike was telling. And so the dude was like, that's my girlfriend. And Mike wasn't even talking about her. Like, Mike wasn't even talking about anybody in general. And Mike's like, what? And he was like, why don't you show some respect? And Mike's like, who the fuck are you? And the guy's like, who the fuck am I? Who the fuck are you? And I was like, what is going on? So Mike gets up and he goes, I will karate. What's the Karate Kid? What's the dojo?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, anyway, he uses that like dojo name. He's like, I will karate kung fu you down those fucking stairs. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like, I'm just trying to have a steak dinner. Absolutely out of control.
Man, I know I have stories like that, but they're not coming to me. But I know I've been embarrassed in public with Mike before. 100%.
Dude, I'm sure dinner with you and Tammy's got to be pretty audacious.
Well, here's the thing. Chelsea has become such a household name, for like lack of a better term. I mean, she's a celebrity, like
Sure.
legit celebrity now. And it's really hard to just go have dinner. Like
Right,
she wants to just, sit and eat and enjoy your food. And then, every waitress or waiter that serves us knows who we are, and great service, but can I get pictures? And they tell other people who they're serving. They come by, people in the restaurant, which is all fine and dandy, but you kind of have to be on your best behavior at all times, because who knows who's filming.
Yeah. Well, I feel like yeah, go ahead.
Let me tell you this story. I just remembered this. So, speaking of eating with Chelsea, me, her sister, 2 of her sisters, or maybe just one of her sisters, and our 2 nieces, and our friend Paige, and her boyfriend Brett, we were all going to go to Texas Roadhouse, and it was like a 2-hour wait. So we settled for Red Lobster. All right.
This is real life.
Yeah,
This is real life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Real life.
Right.
This happened a week and a half ago. And I'll send you the video. So we walk in, and I saw a bunch of groups like getting ready to walk in, and I'm like, I'm gonna beeline it to the desk so we're not behind all these other people, because we were starving. Well, no host at the host stand. 2 separate parties already waiting. And so I walk in, and I'm standing there, and the guy in front of me waiting for the host to come back literally is like taking a picture of the host stand with nobody standing there. So I could tell they'd been waiting a while. Well, then our crew comes in, and they all take seats in the waiting area. And then these 2 big tops, probably 2 6-top tables, come in behind us. Host
What's the demographic there?
At Red Lobster or Nashville?
Like, because like the Red Lobsters around here, like you would be the only white person in there.
Oh man, I didn't pay attention, but I feel like everybody around us was Caucasian.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting the different Red Lobster locations around here. Like, it's pretty much an all black establishment at this point.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I can't remember the last time I've been to Red Lobster besides a week and a half ago. So
They still
I
got
really
those
couldn't
like
tell you.
cheese cheddar biscuits things that they give you.
Yep. And
Oh,
they had about 20 of them. I didn't. I'm not joking. So host comes back, seats one of the tables in front of us, or one of the groups in front of us, comes back, grabs a second group, and part of their party was kind of mingled in the lobby with us. So they got up and started walking to go get set. Well, what I thought was part of the party, this male and female, walking with the group, and they walk straight up to the host desk. And host takes the party, and they stay standing there. So Maggie, Chelsea's sister, goes very politely, as polite as possible. Hey, we're all in line. The line's actually back there.
Mm.
The wife goes, Yeah, we know. And then the husband goes, let me handle my business. Just like that. And I go,
Oh,
So I give him the benefit of the doubt. And I'm like, this dude's pissed about something. He wants to ask for a manager. Let's let him handle his business, whatever.
Sure.
Right?
sure.
Host comes back. This is what he says. Table for two. Dude, I lost it. I saw fucking red.
What?
So I step in and I'm like, ma'am, they just cut in front of all of us. I said, we have a table for 7. If we can be sat first, thanks. This guy goes off telling me, I'm tired of hearing you. We didn't know. And so Paige, our friend Paige, starts recording this interaction. And he got so pissed because he kept saying, I'm tired of hearing you. I said, well, go stand where you're supposed to stand and you won't have to hear me.
Mm-mm.
He goes, mind your business. I said, this is my business. You just
This is
cut in front of me,
legit my
asshole."
business. Like you're coming between me and cheddar biscuits
Exactly.
and whatever lobster sauce I'm about to partake in.
Oh, I was so mad. I was mad at how rude he was to her. And I'm like, okay, maybe he's upset. No, he's just a fucking asshole.
Just a dick. Some people just wake up and they choose that asshole life. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt as well, but more often than not, like I find that some people, most people are just being assholes. I saw a thing today. I've got a buddy, dude, who this guy makes 6 figures working for Waffle House.
Whoa.
This guy, he used to come to my distillery all the time.
Mhm.
He doesn't now because he's like on a super ultra diet. Does that like that bodybuilding, weightlifting, like where all the veins in your body pop out contest. So he hasn't been by in a while, but he used to come by and hang out like during the day and like help me distill. And he'd always ask me like questions. I think he had like a little operation in his garage, maybe, probably. And bro, he just bought like a new boat, and then he had like had like a new truck, and then like 6 or 7 months later, he like bought some new stills, and like all this time, I'm like, gosh, dude, this guy must be like loaded. Like, what does he do? So finally, I just asked him. I was like, yo, what? Like, you've been hanging out long. I feel like I can ask you, like, what do you do for a living? He's like, I'm the regional manager of Waffle House, and I was like, really? He was like, oh, yeah. He's like, I started working there as a manager right out of college for $75,000 a year. He's like, now I'm making well over 6 figures.
Wow.
And he's like, I literally just walk around with a clipboard and then that's it. Like they fill out the clipboard for me. Like I walk in with my clipboard and I hand it over and then like I just walk through. And that's what I do like all day. So anyway,
Wow.
I saw an article today and I had to send it to him because anytime there's a Waffle House article, I've got to send it to the one Waffle House dude I know.
Yep.
And it's an article on Facebook where a guy goes into Waffle House at 3 a.m. and there's nobody there. It's just empty. No employees, no nothing. Completely unlocked.
Oh, I saw
The
that.
griddle was hot.
Yes, I
Yeah.
saw that. And he cooked his own breakfast, right?
Okay, so like I didn't know about that one until I sent this article and he goes, oh yeah. Did you not see the one where the guy came in and actually cooked his own breakfast? Because that happened too.
Wow.
This is
That's
like a second incident. This guy didn't cook his breakfast. This guy just chilled. Could you imagine walking into a Waffle House and just being empty? That'd be
I
the
mean-
best. I wouldn't know what to do, to be honest with you. Like I know how to fucking turn on a griddle and like
Right.
so what's you guys are I mean I'm guessing the cat's out of the bag. I've heard Chelsea talk about it, but she's doing an OnlyFans movie on OnlyFans only. Is that what that is essentially?
Well, so she started it on OnlyFans. So she started an OnlyFans specifically just to do this idea. But
Right.
so it's I forget the technical term, but it's actually on its 3rd season. And
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Way behind.
so she Tammy's a director for a porno, and she has cameras follow her around while she. It's like The Office.
I was just about to say it's like The Office, but
Yes.
like in an OnlyFans porn shoot.
Correct. So she's actually gone away from OnlyFans. She's on Patreon now. So if people want to check it out, it's obviously a little bit easier to explain the $5 fee from Patreon than it is OnlyFans on your bank account. So,
Dude, I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was such a great flex putting it on OnlyFans. Because it's like taking a sleazy site and making it legit. But did you know that OnlyFans was originally like invented for comedians?
oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, I think I heard that somewhere that like comedians wanted a place that people could go and like they could practice their comedy and do stuff. And so it was like really like at the original, like when OnlyFans first started, it was like majority. Well, I think I heard Joe Rogan talking about that.
So, ironically, I flew out to Chicago and met Chelsea and her sisters. And the first thing I did when I landed was go to the OnlyFans headquarters with them. And we hung out with the owner of OnlyFans. I didn't ask any questions like, pertaining to like what was the original idea or anything, but he took us on his boat in the river, in the Chicago River, and down at the pier, and we watched fireworks. It was right before 4th of July. It was pretty awesome.
Oh, super awesome, dude. Oh, super cool. What was the OnlyFans headquarters like? Was there like OnlyFans start? Like when you walk into like a football stadium, they have like, all the memories from all like the great and triumphant battles that have been done in the stadium. Do they have like all the like the most memorable parts of OnlyFans like hanging on the wall? Like here's a sculpture of Mia Khalifa when she got her start.
No, they don't have any like influencers hung up in their office, but it's literally decked out with OnlyFans everything. There's literally a room that has little tiny only fans for fans, like OnlyFans. Like,
wait, what?
Yeah, they just have fans in a room just as a joke. Yeah,
like a room with just fans in it.
Yeah, little tiny ones too. Yeah,
I get it.
But they had this super sweet workout facility that their employees can use. It was really nice.
Did you do like any influencer shit in there, like little selfies? Like,
yeah, I did. I have a couple on my phone. So it was actually freezing cold in Chicago when I went there, and this was only like a month ago. And so we had to jump on his boat, and I'm in shorts and a t-shirt coming from Louisiana.
Oh God, the armpit.
Yeah, and so he's like, "It's going to get really cold on the boat. Here's a sweater, and it's a hoodie and it says OnlyFans on it." And I'm like, "All right." So
yes,
I took some pictures and posted it just to like fuck with people, make them think I have an OnlyFans, just to kind of see the response.
Sure. You ever thought about starting one? Like, what if you just got on there and just like did no nudity, no schmut, and just did like straight comedy or something? I bet your fans are like pretty loyal. I bet you they would go over there.
I think I'd probably have better success doing it on Patreon. So
yeah, Patreon's pretty sweet. That's what we're doing right now. We're having a lot of fun on Patreon. How many times have you inadvertently seen Chelsea's tits? They're all over the place, so it's not like you haven't not seen them.
I can show it on the internet, right? On here, on Patreon.
On Patreon, you can. You've got it just that readily available that you're like, right here. On my phone.
Here's the thing, bruh. If I can find it. Where the hell?
I need to buy one of those calendars and just
put
put it in here in my office.
Yeah.
But my kids are fucking nosy, so they'll.
So this is the shoot. I was in March of this year. I know it's kind of blurry, but
yeah, because you keep moving the fucking camera.
Is it going to focus?
Yeah, it's focused enough that I know what's going on.
So no, literally, she loves to be naked. So if we're at her house, she is usually butt ass naked.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Like, but that's like the whole crew. Like, not me, but all the females.
So my wife is the complete opposite of me. Master's degree, super genius, smart, reads like 3 books a week. Not exaggerating. Just recluse, introvert, quiet, smart. Everybody's always like, how are you married to this woman? And I like Tammy's relationship with her husband's a lot like a relationship with my wife, where it's like she just expects me to be audacious and over the top and crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why she married me. So it's like people are like, "Are you okay with that?" Like he just streaked through the backyard and jumped into that neighbor's pool.
Yes.
And my wife's like, I mean, that's kind of why I married him, because it's a lot more fun to be married to somebody like that, I guess. So yeah, I totally empathize with Chelsea on that one.
But so I see him all the time, to answer your
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. I mean, does it ever like haunt you? Do you ever like try to like stop thinking about it? Like sometimes like when you're at the end of the day and you're relaxed and you just want to put your head down on your pillow, and then all of a sudden they pop in and you're like, oh, come on. Come on.
I
Gotta
can't
start
say-
over.
Bro.
The sleep cycle is what I was talking about there.
Yeah. So I'm actually an admin for her Facebook page. And so I see all the messages that come in. The amount of old creepy dudes and the shit
Really?
that they tell her, dude, unreal.
Really?
Unreal.
Do you respond
Sorry.
back as her and just like play into it, or just shut
No.
it down?
Oh, I just leave it as whatever. I mean, she goes through them too, but I'm more an admin to like help her like with technical stuff instead of like
Oh,
responding to
gotcha.
things. So
I got you.
and I was trying to like help her and like do some posts, and she's like, "Stop posting on my page without asking me." I'm like, "Oh, all right. I was just trying to help you." But I get it. I would be the same way.
Right. And
But-
you run into these pictures or these thirsty men.
Oh yeah. Well, the funniest thing, you'll have like all these responses from them about her, maybe from her story or just messages about, "Oh, I'd love to suck on those tits of yours," blah blah blah.
Oh
Right?
my god!
Unanswered, and then
Why are people such disgusting assholes?
I don't know, bro.
I think they forget that people are like humans. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would never, even if I really wanted to suck on somebody's titties, I would never message them that,
Correct.
because they're a human fucking being,
Correct.
not some cow that you're trying to.
So
milk, you know what
my
I mean?
favorite thing for me is getting thirsty women in my DMs and then seeing married family of 3 with a picture
Oh.
of all the
Isn't
time,
that the
bro.
best though? Like when I worked for Drinking Bros and I was on that network, I had a lot of fun working on that network, but like really got to see this world and was like, this would be great if I was 25 or 24, but being just about 40 with a
Yep.
wife and 5 kids, like absolutely not great. But we were at I did a comedy thing with them, and it was a live show, a live meetup. And I think there was like 250 people at this meetup that paid
Oh,
like
nice.
$25 a piece to be there.
Ooh.
And oh yeah, some like famous guy. There was a bunch of famous people there too with us, but it was cool. So I was one of the first guys on stage to loosen up the crowd. Did a little was kind of the funny guy for a few minutes, and everybody on that network knew when I did that year-long show, Tailgate Legends, that I'm like family man. Like I'm like a family guy. I don't really do the drugs. I don't do
Right.
the boozing. But I'm funny and I kind of like play the part that I do, but I don't do any of that stuff.
Right.
So, but everybody knows that. And I got off of the stage and I felt like I did really good. And this girl comes over to me and she's like, "Oh my God, Eric, I love you so much. Can I get a selfie?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, let's get a selfie." And I was like, "Is that Liquid IV on the table?" Because they were one of the big sponsors. So they had Liquid IV on all the tables. And I was a little hungover from the UFC fight the night before. So I said, and this is like, we're out of town on this trip. So my wife wasn't with me. And I was like, "Can I get some of that Liquid IV?" She's like, "I'll give you a blowjob." And I was like, "No, I just have a headache. I just need the Liquid IV." She's like, "I'll give you both." I was like, she's like, "I'm a huge fan." And I was like, "No, let's start with the Liquid IV. We'll see where the headache goes from there. And then, if my head still hurts in 45 minutes, I might readdress the blowjob part." And she was like, "Okay," And so I go back and I call my wife and I'm like, "Listen, this just happened." She's like, "Yo, send me a picture. I got to see what this chick looks like." And I sent it to her and she's like, "Oh, woof." And I was like, "Yeah, right." So it's like not very tempting. She's like, "What do you mean not very tempting?" I was like, "Well, she was hotter. I would have thought about it." But anyway, later on, the publicist for the Drinking Bros comes over to me and she's like, "Eric, there's a whole table of Austin PD that are here to see you. Could you make your way over to that table and just say hi to them and thank them for coming?" I was like, "Oh, dude, that's awesome." They came here to see me. That's cool. Because, most people were there to see all the other big acts, Ross Patterson and all the other Black Rifle guys and stuff. So I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. So I go over to the table and they're like, oh, we're big fans of Failure to Stop. We love Mike the Cop. Of course, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is like, is Mike the Cop here? I'm like, no, it's just me. It's just his loser sidekick. But we do like the pictures, everything. It's great. And I leave their table. And as I'm walking away from their table, the homegirl, the blowjob girl, comes up and she throws her hands up on my chest. And she was like, oh my gosh. She's like, is your head still hurt? And I was like, nope. The Liquid IV worked like a charm. I'm feeling great. And she's like, okay, great. Do you have any blow? And I was like, what? And she was like, cocaine. And I was like, of course I do not have cocaine. She's like, oh my God, but I really want some. I was like, oh, I just came from that table right over there.
Stop.
They're just throwing that shit out like it's candy. She was like, are you serious? I was like, I'm serious. So she goes over to the table of cops. She leans in like, like the titty lean in, like when you want that Coke, when you want it, you just show it like, here, let me do one of these for you. Like,
ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
A little cleavage action.
Hell yeah.
She's doing that. And I don't know what she's saying because I'm too far away, but I'm watching. And like all the cops are like, what? They're not in uniform, right? They're like, what? Right. And then she says it again. And the one girl gets up and she pulls out her badge. And the girl's like, uh-huh. And then the cop's like, no, look. Like, and then she looks down. She sees the badge, busts out in tears. I'm like, oh, I'm out. So I leave. Later on, about 10 minutes later, I'm in the bathroom taking a piss. And I leave the bathroom. There's like 4 chicks and a dude standing outside the bathroom. And they were like, yo, man, that's fucked up. And I was like, what? What's going on? And they were like, we came all the way from Colorado to see you. And you fucking turn her over to the cops. You snitched. And I was like, one, dude, it's a joke. They're off duty. They're not going to do anything about it. And they don't have Coke. Relax. She's like, and you know what makes you a bigger asshole? It wasn't even for her. It was for her mom. And she has cancer.
What?
I was like, okay. All right. Cool. So I was supposed to go back on stage in like 10 more minutes. So I went back up on stage and told that whole fucking story in front of them and like all 250 people.
Oh, I love it.
I was like, I'm not going to point anybody out, but check this out. I'm a family man. Like I did it in a stand-up comic way, working the crowd. But it was hilarious. So yeah, I felt like a kind of a dick afterwards. And actually the publicist was like, don't do that to our fans. They paid a lot to come here. And I was like, listen, you can't go to a comedy show and not expect to do something audacious. And then the comedians not like fucking call you out.
Right.
You're all stand up, aren't you?
So I did some MC work for Chelsea's tour. We did a brief stint before COVID started of our own show. And then we had some rescheduled shows when COVID kind of laxed and people opened back up. And then it turned into kind of just Chelsea's comedy show. And when you get big management, like she has right. They're like, we can pay an opener $100, a local opener $100, and you don't need Daniels to sell tickets. You can sell out on your own. So, I mean, just business. It wasn't anything personal. So
I know how that goes too.
Yeah. So I go and I just go support them, and I'll jump in on the meet and greets and stuff. But with Chelsea's fans, they just think that it's okay to like grab tits and stuff. So which Chelsea lets them do for pictures.
Right. Oh, well, that's hilarious.
So they think it's okay to grab my crotch for pictures without asking. Yeah.
Oh.
So
you get some bruisers in there, like just some ones that like just go in for like the full fucking little too hard grab. Are they like softy grabs?
They're pretty soft. Okay. Or they want to like have me sign their tits or their ass or stuff like that, which is really strange to me. Like,
do you do it?
Oh, of course, but it's just like
it's weird.
At a normal comedy show, meet and greet, that wouldn't be happening, but it's Trailer Trash Tammy.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like the schlick, right? The shtick, as they call it.
Yeah,
I've never had to sign anybody's tits. I want to though. I want to do it once, just say I did it.
You can sign my tits.
See, that'd be perfect. Like,
would you be mad if the first tits you signed were mine?
No, If they were the only tits I signed, I would be fine with that. I just want to have the experience of signing some tits once. And then I could just tell my wife, like I could just like years later be like, remember that time I was so famous that I got to sign that set of tits? She's like, Eric, it was a dude's tits. And I'm like, listen, we don't have to get caught up in that. It's 2034. We're way past that, honey.
Have you made it to one of her shows? I know she's been out close to Raleigh a couple times.
No, I haven't. I haven't because I'm a piece of shit and I have 5 kids. I honestly haven't been to like really a lot of comedy shows. I've been a stand-up comedian in more shows than I've attended comedy shows. Like I probably went to 2 stand-up comedy shows in my life, but I've done like 6 stand-ups. So a cool little story. Chelsea's last tour, or the tour before last, kicked off in Colorado, out here at the Denver Comedy Works. Oh.
And so I obviously was down there and hanging out with them, and they put her up in the they have an apartment connected to, there's like an apartment complex that's part of the building for the venue.
Yeah.
And they own an apartment, and they put all the talent up in there, or the headliner up there.
Right.
So we all hung out up there, and they have 2 locations, one downtown Denver and one like closer to like Douglas County area. And so she's finishing up her show, and all the staff's like, hey, Dave Chappelle just showed up at the other place, and he's doing he did a walk-in, and he's performing from 2 to midnight.
Whoa.
We're all heading down there. So Chelsea's like, we're going, like huge Dave Chappelle fan.
For sure.
So this was right after her video went viral of her crushing the roach with her tit. Have you seen that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So we get there, and he finishes, and we're like, are we going to get the invite to go back? Like, we're just kind of waiting.
Yeah.
And somebody from the venue comes up and says, hey, only Chelsea. He's allowed Chelsea. So she says so she was nervous because she didn't want to go by herself, but obviously didn't want to miss an opportunity to meet Dave.
Sure.
So she goes, and she said there was just like 40 groupies, like people who just hang out with him all the time, just in front of the green room door. And they just go absolutely wild. Oh my God, it's the roach tit girl. Oh my God. Whoa. Right. So one of them escorts her into the green room, and they're like, you know who this is? Like, this is the titty girl that, crushed the roach with her tit. And Dave's like, huh? So she had to sit there with Dave Chappelle and watch that video with him. So he hadn't seen it.
Awesome.
So
that's awesome. It's an awesome story.
Yeah, she said it was super cool, and he had heard about her, but he hadn't seen that video, and gave her some cool advice. And yeah, she got it going on, man. She actually had a Netflix show that they filmed that Netflix canned after it was all said and done. Just said it didn't jive the way they wanted it to.
A buddy of mine was supposed to have like a Netflix special out, and did so much work on it. And then I was like, yo, when is this thing coming out? And he was like, actually fucking, so they're not going to put it out. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
You ever done anything with Todd McComas?
Should I know that name?
I mean, maybe not. He was on Barstool Sports, but he was like a 21-year police detective, and then he retired at 20 years, and then did stand-up comedy and made it to Barstool Sports, and was on the Barstool Sports podcast for years.
Oh,
and
really?
Now he's on the True Crime Network with Ashley Flowers. He's on the Tenderfoot. He's on the Tenderfoot Network doing This Day in Crime. But he and I talk a bunch. I've had him on the show a few times, but he's still doing a lot of stand-up comedy. Indiana, Colorado, all out that way.
Nice.
I think he lives in Indiana. Really funny guy, really nice guy. He's helped me out. Like I did, like when my first stand-up ever, I was like, I called him and I was like, dude, I'm so sorry to bother you. Cause he'd been on the show and he'd been really cool. And I was like, I would never like try to take advantage of you. But you said if I ever wanted to do stand-up, to just call you first. And I was like, can I give you like my 6 minutes really quick. And he's like, well, that's going to be really awkward over the phone. But if you think you could pull it off, I mean, he's like, shit, dude, if you can make me laugh over the phone, I guess it'd probably be pretty great. And he's like, but if you want to do it, go ahead. And he's like, what's your audience? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, what kind of club is it? And I was like, all black. Like, I'll be the only white person there and I'll be the only white comedian there. And he was like, oh no. And I was like, what? Is that bad? Or like, I didn't know. I was like, are you racist? And he was like, I'm like, oh, are you racist? You don't want me to do it? And he's like, man, black crowds are great. They're the best. But like, if you suck, they're the worst because they'll like hit you with flashlights and they'll yurt you off the stage. And it's like, he's like, I'm telling you, for your first time, this is a terrible idea. And he was like, but run through your jokes really quick. And I ran it through and he was like, man, that is really funny. That was like really good. He's like, if you can pull it off with the same confidence you did on the phone, that'll be great. If not, they're going to beat your fucking ass. And I did it, dude. And everybody was laughing. So I just went harder and harder. And at the end, this black woman jumped out onto the stage and gave me a hug.
Awesome.
And I was like, oh, thank God. Because I was borderline on a lot of the jokes.
Yeah.
I was like, they can either see this as like extremely racist or like extremely funny. But luckily they saw it as extremely funny. So
Good.
he's a great guy, though. If you ever get a chance to lock up with Todd McComas.
Yeah, you'll have to send me
Really
his
funny.
information where I
Yeah.
can find him. And
He's hating
I
life right
imagine-
now. He's doing true crime on Tenderfoot. And he was like, dude, it's like Disney World of true crime. So he has to be super politically correct. No jokes, no funny. But, you know, he's a funny dude. He's a funny guy. Like, I don't call it, you call me Tanstradamus, if you will. But I can see things that are going to go bad. And, like, there's nothing good that comes out of this Britney Spears shit at all. Like, this ends in an overdose or an OnlyFans with, like, full fucking penetrating porn. Which neither one is going to be good for her.
Probably both.
Oh, you said you're going both.
I'm going
You're
to say,
my-
yeah. She's going to do the OnlyFans, start getting some
Yep.
good money again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Find some nose candy or something. And
Oh, she's already in the nose candy. Have you seen those videos?
well, I mean, like, get heavily
Just
inundated.
off the rails.
Yeah, like turn into like Aaron Carter
Yeah.
type stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think she's already there.
Aaron Carter. Oh,
I think
yeah.
she's already Aaron Carter gone. Like, she's batshit crazy. Do you
Yeah.
follow her at all?
I just see the stuff from my timeline,
Bro,
but I don't
she's-
follow her, but I've
It's
seen
getting
enough to
worse.
know. Oh yeah.
It's getting worse. It's getting worse. And that's not a filter. That's not like I'm on cocaine filter. That's like literally I'm on
Oh.
cocaine. I know the whole runny eyes, the mascara, that's all real. It's not a filter.
I went down the rabbit hole probably a year and a half, 2 years ago on her TikTok.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is she all of a sudden talking so differently? Like, if you go back to like some of her first TikToks, she's talking normal. And then I can't even impersonate how she talks now, but it's
Let's hear
so we I can't even remember how she.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But she talk, and she didn't used to do that
No,
at all.
no. I
Like
think
Super Valley Girl, yeah,
Yeah,
and
she's
slow.
that's a lot of drugs, dude. You know, I mean, that terrible parents. Let's just chalk that off to that. Like when you get raised by pieces of shit who are narcissistic and fucking famous everything. I mean, you're gonna suffer. You know, the child is gonna suffer some consequences.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah, being a-
you can't
but-
project through your children, or you're gonna fuck them up.
I mean, have we ever seen a child prodigy actor not being just a ton of shit in their adult life?
No, I mean, like Drew Barrymore. I mean, I'm glad that Drew Barrymore wrote that book. I need to read that book, the Drew Barrymore, the memoirs, where she's talking about like doing like coke at like 8 years old. But you know, I only had like a brief run-in with like Hollywood on such a small scale, working on that network. And you know, luckily the Drinking Bros guys have somewhat of a moral standard. They're crazy and they're audacious,
Oh,
but 90% of it's an act. But
right.
but some of the people they hang out with, some of the parties that I attended and things like that, I was like, what the fuck? And so I did that Tailgate Legend show where I got to tailgate with a different celebrity every weekend. So I was with like a bunch of really cool people. And I was with this one, And I can't like, this is on the show. So we're back on the show stuff. So I can't like go too crazy on it. But I got invited to an orgy, but they didn't tell me it was an orgy. And it was at a mansion, and it was a full-fledged fucking crazy. I'm talking like 50 plus people fucking in a very small area inside of a mansion. It was the most surreal. I can tell you every smell I smelled. I can tell you there was 50 to 60 people in that room. I can tell you what each one of them looked like. Like, I was only there for 45 seconds before I left, and like the whole fucking thing is burned into my brain. Like every, you know what I mean? Like, you know when you get tased and you can remember that whole fight. Like, I can remember everybody's positions. Like when everybody, it was the craziest shit I'd ever been to. And I was like, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." She's like, "Are you offended?" And I was like, No. But is it okay if I leave? She was like, "Oh yeah, honey, you can leave. Are you okay? Do you want to talk?" And we go down the stairs, and I was like, "I just didn't know." And she's like, "Oh, it's okay. I didn't really know how to say it, but like I thought you would get the hints when I said that like you're gonna have to sign an NDA and leave your phone at the door." I was like, "I thought that's just because you guys were all like celebrities."
Celebrities, yeah.
I didn't know that y'all were all fucking like, holy shit, bro. I called my wife. This is at like 2 a.m. I'm driving home, and my wife's the one that made me go to this thing. I wasn't going to go. And she was like, "Look, they just bought like 3 cases of our rum," because I own a rum distillery. I make rum. And 3 cases, they're 12 bottles a case. And so it's like, you know, it's a significant amount of money. She was like, "They bought 3 cases of our rum. You just go to the party. It's fine. It's a Halloween party. It's not going to be that big of a deal." And I was like, "Yeah, but buddy, I went to their pool party, and like all the waitresses at the pool party didn't have tops on." And she's like, "Grow up. You'll be fine. Like, it's not like you haven't seen tits before. Just like show face and, you know, try not to be a dirtbag." Because, you know, I talked to her about like, what do I look at? The ceiling? Or like when somebody's offering you a cocktail with no shirt on, like, how do you, because to grab the cocktail, you didn't have to look at the titties.
Right.
Because it's the same level. So I'm like, what's the etiquette here? Do I like look to the right and grab the cocktail? Like, I don't want to be a piece of shit.
Right.
And my wife's like, just grab it normal, like how you were. And I was like, normally there wouldn't be fucking tits there. What do you mean grab it normally? I don't normally grab cocktail glasses with titties in the way. So she makes it go. So I call her, and I've only been at this thing for like fucking like less than 15 minutes. And she's like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Don't go to sleep." She's like, "I'm already asleep." I was like, "You better wake up." And I'm like an hour away from the house. So I get home, and I'm like, "You got to wake up." And she's like, "What's going on?" I was like, I told her the whole story. She's like, "That's crazy." She was like they were like literally, I was like, "Honey, it smelled like fucking burnt rubber and condoms. It was nasty. It was like I had to cover my beer because of the smell of sweat and dirty condom. You know what a condom smells like?
Yes.
Right? Like there was a woman collecting condoms like through the crowd, like as people switch partners. So like I'm telling you, I was only there for 45 seconds, but I remember like every fucking detail. Like I could paint a sculpture if I knew how to paint. And so I'm like telling my wife, and she's like, "That's crazy." I was like, "Dude, I couldn't even finish my beer because I thought some of the smell from the orgy would have gotten into my beer, and I didn't want to drink the beer." And she's like, "That's crazy." I was like, "Yeah."
Some STDs,
she's like,
something.
She's like, "So do you need to fuck now?" And I was like, Yeah, I do. Like, there's no way I'm going to sleep after all that. So we knocked it out real quick and then went back to bed. But dude, I like so like the really brief run-ins that I've had at some of these kind of like celebrity level, you know, and I was a sommelier as a cop. I got my sommelier diploma, my certified specialist of wine diploma, graduated from the Society of Wine Educators and the Gallo Wine Academy ordeal that they've got going on. And I got picked up by a celebrity who does art for like all the celebrities. I'm talking like Dane Reynolds, like Zach Galifianakis. I mean, just those are just my favorite. But I mean, so many celebrities. The list is massive. And this guy does art in their mainly California, New York houses, and so he's a really dope artist. He's really great, and he's you know, I met him at a wine thing, and he just, you know, thought I was a cool guy, and so he was like, "Hey man, would you like to be my private sommelier?" Dude, I got to do like with Kraft Cheese, like the people who own Kraft Cheese, like the Kraft family. I got to do like an event with them as their sommelier. Anyway, so I'm still a cop at that time, and I'm doing the sommelier event, pouring wine at these like super extravagant party. And dude, there was so much blow. I don't know where they were getting it from, but like it was like an endless amount of blow. everywhere. The bathrooms, all the tables, the living room, kitchen, you name it. There were trays of blow. And I'm a cop at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, I can't do this shit. Like I was a cop in that area, of course.
Right. But
This is out of town. But like I'm still thinking like this can't be good for my cop career. So,
right. Yeah, I have definitely had my share of. Just even recently, I went to a concert and somebody in our friend group said, so the butler or the former butler to the person performing offered him Coke at the
Right.
family and friends area to this. And he's like, do you want to do it? I'm like, what? Why are you?
have you
and what-
dabbled in it? Have you tried it?
Oh, hell no.
I haven't either.
Absolutely
I
not.
haven't done it either.
And I'm like, for one, why are you asking me? And two, why are you even thinking about it? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, get out of my face, dude. And I said, don't do it.
I don't.
I said, I don't want to have to babysit you all night. I'd be
It's the
so
worst.
yeah.
Do you know how many times I've been the driver at all these events? Like I always end up being the driver. Like one time we were at a big fight, and one of the guys that was like driving, and we parked like underneath the stadium. Hilarious. And the driver comes over to me. He's like, "Oh, is the fight over?" And I was like, "Yep." And he was like, "Oh, I would not have done that last bag of mushrooms had I known the fight was going to be over this fast." And I was like, "Do you need me to drive?" And he was like, "Can you?" And so like I'm in this car with like A-list celebrity fighter, like a badass dude. And he was like, "Whoa, wait, why is he fucking driving?" And then they told the story and they're like, "Oh, you know, they were just making fun of me and clowning me." And they're like, only Tansy would come on an event like this and find himself driving. And he was like, "Weren't you drinking tonight?" I was like, "Bro, I had like 2 White Claws. Like, I'm good. I've been here for 6 hours. I've had 2 White Claws. You guys hand me shit and I just hold it to be like," and so here's a funny one. There was a dude from Comedy Central there and he fucking hated me. This guy fucking hated me. Didn't like me at all. Matter of fact, I'll just fucking out him. I don't care. Adam Ray. You ever heard of Adam Ray? Comedy. He's been the voice in a couple of Disney movies recently. Like I don't know what's that one with like the mad, like where the creatures are like in the brain, like all your cells are the humans in a human body.
Element?
Disney movie. Is that Element?
Elemental. No.
Yeah,
the,
something
like
like
the
that.
new one.
I don't know, like where it's like anger and fear, and they're all like inside a human body.
Oh,
It's a Disney movie.
I don't watch
know. It
a
was
lot
in
of
the
Disney
theaters.
movies.
Yeah, I get it. But anyway, he was the voice in one of those.
Gotcha.
And he's on Comedy Central, and he's got like he's just a stand-up comedian dude, and he's been in a bunch of shit. You can look him up. He's just
I can't picture him in my head, but the name does sound
and
familiar. For
like
sure.
good. I'm glad. I'm glad. But the guy, we were at a baseball game, and we were sitting in like Nolan Ryan's suite. And I was sitting outside of the suite because all the celebrities are inside and I'm not a celebrity. I'm just a podcast guy that happens to be on a cool network that gets invited on some really great, cool trips. And so I'm just sitting outside chilling, watching the game. I'm the only one out there. And this Adam Ray dude comes and sits down next to me. And I'm like there's a lot of seats, but he chooses to sit right next to me.
Mhm.
And so I'm watching the game and I'm like, "Hey, what's going on, man?" I have no idea who this guy is. And he's like, "So what do? You one of the editors, producers, or?" And I was like, "Oh, no. I'm a host on one of the podcasts for the network." And he's like, "Oh, really? What show?" And I'm like, "Failure to Stop with Mike the Cop." And he's like, "Oh, you're the cop." And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "That sucks." And I was like, "Oh, what sucks about that?" And he was like, "It's a pretty shitty profession." I was like, "I don't know. Some people call it a noble profession, you know?" And he's like, "Oh, like busting crackheads and homeless people is noble." I was like, "Oh, are you a cop?" And he was like, "No." And I was like, "You seem to know a lot about the job, you know?" And he was like looking at me and I was like, "Oh, and by the way, it's kind of a douche move to sit next to somebody and just start the conversation with like, 'What do you do?'" And so we stared at each other for a minute and he got up and walked away. And that's it. Like that was the end of the conversation. Well, later on that night, we're in the car and I'm driving, right? Because of the mushroom ordeal.
Oh,
And the dude in the back seat, Chuck Liddell. And they're like talking, they're like, "Why the fuck is this guy driving? What is he fucking doing?" And and then so somebody was like, "Can we just clear the elephant in the room?" I'm driving, right? Like trying to focus. And they're like, I didn't even know what the elephant in the room is. And they're like, "What did Tansy say that made Adam leave so early in the night. And I was like, wait, what? Did you guys say my name? And they were like, dude, he was like, that motherfucker's out or I'm out. And we're like, I mean, what happened? And he's like, he called me a fucking douche. And they were like, oh, sorry. I mean, I don't know, but like, just he's out there, you're in here, just stay away. Well, so the guy ends up leaving. And they were like, you called him a fucking douche? I was like, dude, no, I never called the guys. I said it's a douche thing to do, to sit down and ask somebody what they do as their first sentence. And everybody in the truck started laughing. They just thought that was the funniest thing. I was like,
Yeah,
dude,
fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy, dude.
You want me to
I don't
go
know.
spam his Facebook page?
It's not even worth it. I got a selfie with his girlfriend took a selfie with me. I didn't even know it was his girlfriend. I still got it on my phone. I've thought about posting it a million times because he's been talking lots of shit on his stand-up. I follow him on Instagram just to keep up with him, and he talks a lot of cop shit. But he and his show didn't last very long, and Mike and I show demolished his show like by thousands.
Good.
So,
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. But yeah, what a bitch.
This is comedy related too. So
Okay, good.
I did not prepare myself for this, but
Don't worry about it, Tim. I didn't prepare myself for a lot of things that happened tonight.
not me.
I would have done a lot more blow. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm high as fuck right now. You couldn't tell?
Are you serious?
No.
I don't know anymore. Now, did you do like the edibles and shit or no? Like, do you do the marijuanas?
Well, you're just having me dime out myself.
Oh, fuck me. It's Patreon. It can't go anywhere.
Well, people
Listen,
are going
I
to go
got-
comment. I heard he said on a podcast that
Elon Musk did it, and he's way more famous than us. I've only done it like twice, and I did it when I broke it. Both times I had a broken arm. I used to when I do prescription drugs.
I do it every night to go to bed now for about a
Nice.
year. Yeah.
Bert Kreischer did a whole thing on that,
Dude,
getting good sleep. Have you met
Yes.
Bert Kreischer?
I have not. I get told him and I, when I was heavier with my beard, people
Yeah.
always thought I was him for some reason. It was, I don't know why.
That sucks.
Go ahead and show that photo first, and then I'll send you the other one after we get our input on the photo.
All right, you ready, boys?
Let's do it. All right. I'm going to
All right,
give
here
you
we go.
three guesses and one clue. You can ask one question.
Okay.
Whose hat am I wearing, Tansy?
Okay. Is it Theo Von's?
No.
Is it a comedian? From the one
Yes.
hat?
Two
Is it
more
Bert
guesses.
Kreischer's?
No.
Tom Segura?
No, sir.
Fuck. I don't
Alright.
know.
Does
Oh.
Go ahead. I'll give you a
No,
fourth.
I don't know. I don't know.
Let me send the other one.
What does it say? Settler? I can't.
I'm pretty sure. I think it says Wisconsin
Oh, Wisconsin.
somewhere on there.
I don't know. I don't know many Wisconsin fucking people. Tell
You
me
got
what
you
is
get
it.
the other picture?
No.
Yep, it's coming up right now.
All right. Yeah, buddy.
All right, hang on. Has it come up yet?
That's up for me. Can you not see it?
I was trying to oh, Jesus, Chris Farley?
Yes, sir.
Oh my, how'd you get that hat?
Chelsea bought it at an auction.
Stop.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, dude.
And it was the most surreal thing putting that on.
You think he wore that hat?
That's the same picture. Or that's the same hat in the picture.
I know, but people make like 10 of the same hats.
No, it's
It's that one.
yeah, it's got
What?
authenticity, whatever the certificate.
Oh, so it was like legit. Like she didn't just like see it and says like, "Hey, I saw a picture of Chris Farley." It was like a Chris Farley's hat.
Yes.
No way.
Yeah.
I would never have guessed that.
Really?
No.
I sent it to my family group and my sister-in-law got it immediately. Within like 30
Oh.
seconds. I was so pissed.
Wow, man, good for her. That's so fucking rad, dude.
Yeah. Super honored to wear that.
That is so cool. Where does she keep that at?
So she just got it. So actually she's got a Patreon podcast called Slits Only, which is
Ooh,
sexual.
yeah.
And they did a show and tell between her and her co-host. And that was something that just came in that she had bought. and so that was one of the items she showed. So I happened to be there when she filmed that, so I threw it on really quick.
That is so fucking cool.
She also got a jacket, like this. It's not a mink jacket, but
Like a faux mink.
I don't know. It's not even like fur. It's
Dude, you want to hear a piece of shit story really quick? Do you have
Sure.
time? Do you have
Yeah.
time? I don't want to take up your night.
oh yeah, we're good.
I went to a sweatshop in Afghanistan and I bought a fucking trench coat from the sweatshop from the
Oh.
little kids.
Oh,
And everybody on the squad was really mad at me for doing it. But those kids asked me to buy it. Those kids
felt
asked me
you
to
were
buy it.
Yeah, you felt like you were supporting them.
I felt like I was buying. They're like, dude, you fucking Jewed them down. Like they started at 100. You bought that fucking leather thing for $35. It's a sweatshop. I was like, they're not getting the money. They're not getting. It doesn't matter if I paid $100 for it. They're not going to get any more than what they would have made it to begin with.
That's true. I thought
You know
maybe
what I'm
they
saying?
were side hustling with some of the shit they were making.
No, but they were so like, yeah, no, we were new to a village. We were doing some reconnaissance on the village, and they wanted to show us that they make mink trench coats and other mink coats with mink fur. And we walk in there, and it's just like fucking 100 kids working their asses off, and they're all like, "This is a fucking sweatshop." Everybody was like pretty upset about it, and they were like, "Miesta," like showing all this shit, and I was like, "Yo, I'll buy it." And they're like, I tried on them on the church coats. All the kids like put it on me, you know, like I felt like a king, you know. Unless I was 19 at the time. All right, I was 19. I'm like, they're putting it on each arm. I'm like, oh, this looks good, you know.
Oh,
And they're
my
like,
God.
$100, Mister, $100. And I was like, no, $100, 25. And they're like, Mister, you're killing me, Mister. 75. I'm like, fucking 28. They're like, Mister, please. Well,
Oh,
dude, listen, this was a great night. Thank you for having dinner with me.
Thank you for having
I'm
me.
gonna be ever fucking stoked. I'll be telling this story the rest of my life, and I'll also get to say for the rest of my life that I got to have dinner with the Officer Daniels. Thank you, sir, so much. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.